So this is my project car that got wrecked a few months ago. And since it was too expensive to repair, the only way I was able to keep this car was to buy it back after insurance totaled it, leaving me with the task of trying to figure out how to repair this car by myself in my driveway when I have no experience doing anything like this. And so in my previous video, I got started working on the repair. First, cutting up and cleaning up a lot of the damage in the rear quarter panel before removing the damaged door, which I'm going to eventually replace, and finally starting to cut the new rear quarter patch panel to size to weld in. But when I tried to connect the new door that I bought off of Facebook, I realized that there's still a lot of wiring that needs to be assembled. And so in this video, I'm going to attempt to fully assemble the new door and install it on the car so I can finally make this thing drivable again. But not before I run into some interesting challenges.
What am I doing? This thing is not moving at all. That was the single most difficult car thing I've ever had to do. Oh my god. What have I signed up for?
As well as make some pretty interesting discoveries along the way.
Whoa. This damaged door off my car is not the original door. Why are there so many snails in this door?
This explains so much.
Oh my god. Where did I put it?
So with that, it was time to get started on first disassembling all the parts off the old door.
Jeez, that was so loud.
And since I don't actually really know what I'm doing, I'm kind of just learning as I'm going by disassembling this. So the first thing I want to do here was get all the trim and clips off to take a look at what's underneath and compare it to this old new door that I bought off Facebook Marketplace for $100.
Okay, so what I'm trying to do is piece together how all of these electronics connect, because I don't really know anything about this, by kind of examining that. So I think I'm going to go one by one by each connector and see what needs to be connected and what other parts also have to be swapped over.
And it was right about here when I started to notice something weird about this door. That paint underneath that cover wasn't blue.
Whoa. This damaged door off my car is not the original door. So this car came off a red Mazda Speed, and you can see all of this door is painted red, including what goes under this cover. But if you look at mine, there's a clear line where that barrier ends, where it goes almost what looks to be the British Racing green, maybe? Yeah, this was repainted.
This was quite an unexpected discovery.
I guess I have kept up the tradition of destroying the passenger door on this car.
And that actually put me at ease because I kind of felt bad that I was going to be repairing this car to a state that wouldn't be that really factory original, but it turns out it was already a wrecked car to begin with, so that made it much easier to just keep going. But it wasn't long before I ran into my first roadblock.
What I wanted to do is swap the speaker, but I undid the 4 screws, but this thing is not moving at all. Okay, yeah, it just needed a little bit of a pry. Oh, this is probably the mirror wire.
And like I said, this is a learning process, so I'm learning how a lot of this is installed by uninstalling it and understanding how this all finally comes together. And after struggling with some corrosion in the screw threads of the new door, I finally got the new mirror on.
Yeah, mirror is on.
As well as got all the electricals connected too.
I forgot that these cars are actually pretty simple. I've been kind of worried that it's going to be kind of difficult to sort out that mess, but once I got going with it, it's only like 5 or 6 connectors. So, feeling pretty good.
And so after connecting the sub from the old door and installing it, I was feeling pretty good. There wasn't that much left to do on this door. I think I made this task in my head to be way more daunting than it actually was. And I think that's just because it looks so complicated. But when you actually look into it, there was only like 5 or 6 connectors and not much else to do to install it. So after giving it a good clean so it was no longer covered in cobwebs and dirt, it was ready to finally install the door trim on this door.
Whew. All right. Door is actually assembled. And one other thing I've been thinking about is the more I make progress on the car, the better I feel and the more confident I feel about finishing up the repair. Because when it just sat here for a while and I didn't get work done, it was really starting to eat at me and I was starting to feel like I won't be able to do this. But at least if I take these steps and I do one step at a time and I see it slowly come together, I feel much more better about making progress and moving forward. So there's not much left to do except put it on the car.
But see, that's the part I'm dreading the most, because when I took the old damaged door off the car, I seriously underestimated how difficult it would be, because the door is not only like 40 or 50 pounds, but it's also kind of quite awkward to hold with a delicate glass window at the top, and most importantly, it's like 3 feet long. So trying to hold this heavy metal object that has a delicate part awkwardly and trying to line up the bolt holes with the car exactly by myself is not something I was looking forward to. And since using a literal trash can to try and prop up the door at the correct height didn't really work well last time, I need to find a better solution to prop up the door at the exact height that I needed.
A car jack. You use a car jack. Oh my god, you can just use a car. I didn't even think about this. So to figure out the height that I want, so I don't have to adjust the jack while I'm trying to hold this door in place and maybe even screw it in, I'm gonna roughly measure it first against the driver's side door and kind of use that as a starting point.
And so having learned from my first experience removing the door and feeling much better prepared, it's time to give it a shot.
Fuck.
Fuck. Oh, only to discover that it was still gonna be a pain in the butt.
What am I doing? What am I doing?
I was not joking about how awkward this thing is to hold.
What am I doing? I don't understand how this is gonna work. How do I know where? Maybe I should just. Oh. Okay. Oh my god. What have I signed up for?
And after just a little bit of struggle,
okay, once it's
I think
connected,
I got it.
There's not really any going back here. Like, how the hell? Oh no, I fucked up.
And this is the exact moment I realized that I positioned that car jack too far forward for the door to fully properly line up. And since I already connected the wiring harness, I couldn't just let go of the door. So that kind of just left me with no other choice but to kind of just maneuver the car jack backwards while holding the door upright.
Oh. Fuck. That was the single most difficult car thing I've ever had to do. Oh my god, that was scary. I got 2 bolts in.
And so with the door finally lined up, I had to just finish bolting it in, and then it was time for the moment of truth.
Okay, I guess time to check if the window actually works, because if it doesn't, I have to redo all of this someday with a different door, I guess. Let's just see if it works.
And this was a bit nerve-wracking because this was a Facebook Marketplace door that had sat outside for a while.
Oh my god. Haha.
So I was genuinely surprised that not only did the door work, but that I'd figured out how to wire everything correctly without any issues.
It actually worked. And it's in. And does it actually close? It works. I mean, it's not perfect. I think I need to grease this kind of door hinge thing. And I think I need to line the bushing a little better. I cannot believe that I actually got that on. This is crazy.
And at the end of the day, this wasn't even that hard, but it was more the sense of accomplishment that I got from taking on a challenge head on that I'd never even attempted before or imagined I'd be attempting, and actually successfully pulling it off.
This is actually happening. Wow, this is actually amazing. I've got so used to seeing that wrecked door. Seeing that clean, flat surface. It's no longer all crumpled. The damage is kind of isolated to that cutout part.
And it was a pretty big confidence booster too.
What I'm trying to just say is it feels good after seeing it so damaged for so long. A big part of the damage is removed now. There's still a lot of work left to do and even just fixing up the door properly, but this is a win that I really needed.
And so now with the car finally drivable again and me feeling much better about it, I wanted to finally take it out for my first drive with it in several weeks and just enjoy the thing again and remember why I love this thing so much. And yeah, of course the car is not fully fixed yet, but having these small accomplishments on the way to that larger goal just gave me so much more confidence back and finally put a smile back on my face.
Okay, I know what you're thinking. Abi, your car doesn't look good. And I agree. The tint doesn't match. This used red door that I bought off Facebook obviously doesn't have the exact same matching tint. So my plan is to actually swap the glass between the old door and the new door. And I know that removing the window will be easy because that's a very common thing.
Nope, not at all. Actually, that ends up being the hardest part.
But I'm not yet exactly sure how this, I guess front quarter glass can be removed or how easily. So it's the main thing I'm a little worried about figuring out.
And then I discovered that somehow before I'd even got started, I had already messed up.
It turns out the window might need to actually be halfway up to reach some of the bottom bolts that are now under there.
So unless I connect this door back to the car just to raise the window up a bit, I'm gonna have to figure something else out.
It's literally all the way behind this little rod. You can see a piece of that metal bracket there.
And so I chose the hard way.
Okay, this is working. I think it's coming out. Hey, finally. Yeah. Okay. What are you stuck on now? That doesn't make any sense. Oh, it fell out of the window track. Why are you coming out of the window track? Oh, please don't break. Oh my God.
And so after all that struggle, I finally got the window out. And I can move on to getting that front quarter glass out.
Is that it?
So after peeling back the weather stripping and unbolting some of that support frame, that thing pretty much just popped right out.
Yo! Hey! There it is.
And that left my door looking like this, which was pretty weird to see.
It's kind of sad seeing the old door just so droopy. On the other hand, it's really nice to see that I was able to actually get this out. So now I just got to do the same over there to install it and clean these first as well.
Oh, but not before I made another interesting discovery about the condition of my car.
This explains so much. So my car had this known issue when I bought it where the passenger window was just a little too high to the point where it would actually hit the hardtop. And I figured it was just like a window adjustment that needs to be done, but I never figured out why. And it turns out these are the little stoppers that kind of limit the height of the window. And if you can kind of see here, there's like, I don't know, a ½ inch of rubber. But on one of them, it's completely disintegrated off. And that's why the window is probably just going a ½ inch too high, kind of on one end of the window, and barely skimming that hardtop. It's always cool to kind of like reverse engineer this stuff and just learn for the fun of it. And if anyone's watching and trying to figure out how to actually remove the window, there's a metal piece like right here. If you follow this bar, I think it's attached to it itself. And there's 3 bolts, one on this left side right here, and then 2 on the right. You can kind of see the holes there. And I think ideally you want to put the window about halfway down so you can probably reach it much better in this area. So those 3 bolts unbolt the window from the actual door. And then right here, there's a slot, not these, but where you can actually see a slot instead of a hole. And same thing here. Those 2 are the limiters, and they go and they basically hit against this. So you can either remove this or just remove the 2 bolts that remove those limiters, and that'll let the window now slide out, and that's it. So it's just those 3 bolts to remove the window in the middle, and then the 2 to let it actually come out. And then to get that little front quarter out, if you peel back this weather stripping, you'll find 2 screw holes here that disconnect these 2 pieces. And then I had 1 bolt, I think it was up here, and 1 down here, that held the rest of this frame in place. And once I removed that and stripped enough of this weather stripping, it allowed it to come out and the window to come out, and that's it.
And after doing all that work, I kind of got carried away and just continued disassembling the entire door, since I realized I'm gonna scrap this door anyway, and there's probably some good parts you can still keep from it. So I just continued taking the whole thing apart and enjoyed learning a lot about the inner workings as well.
So this is kind of throwback. You see the zip tie here? This was one of the very first things I looked into fixing on this car. It's kind of funny to undo it, actually. I never thought I would be in a position where I'm undoing fixes because it's trash at this point. Like, that's kind of a sad thought. I mean, it just is what it is. How do you get the motor out? Hey. All right, wiring harness is out. So here is what my door looks like after all of that. Oh my God.
And so after I got just a little too carried away with stripping out the old door, I got back to swapping the glass with the new red door on the car.
And so this time I'm gonna make sure those screws down there are probably more reachable, like there. Would you look at that? Wow. So many snails in this door. There are so many, like when I got this door, there were like multiple snails in it. I keep finding snails. Where did you come from?
And so after learning from disassembling my old damaged door, working on the new one went much smoother.
There we go. Oh my God. Got it. So much cleaner. Okay. This is just such a pain to kind of fit all of this in at once. See if I can get this. Will it just be a force thing? Oh, that helped.
And so after getting through all those little struggles with getting this new door on, it felt good to finally be in that home stretch and to be making such smooth progress as well. And it got me quite excited for the future of this car and finishing up this repair. And pretty quickly, I got all the old glass installed back in the new door.
Wow.
And so now that leaves me with a fully functioning door finally installed in my car, as well as the matching glass, which was kind of annoying me after I put the red door on. So there's not really anything left to do to repair this door except repaint it. But that's gonna have to wait until I can finish welding in a new patch panel to fix that huge hole I still have left in the rear quarter, so that I can paint it all at one time.
I can't believe I finished that. Wow. So now this blue here matches the blue there, and the blue here.
It felt quite amazing that I was actually able to pull this off, because when I committed to repairing this car, I truly did not really believe that I would be able to do it. So not only did it feel great to just finish this first step, but it also gave me that much needed confidence boost that I might just be able to repair this car myself. But of course, I still have a long way to go. So subscribe if you want to follow along on the journey, and you can support this channel with the Patreon link in the description below and help make these videos possible. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.